time now on Sky Sports Radio for Going Greyhounds for your daily update of the latest news and tips.
Sky Sports Radio, Going Greyhounds. Mick Cowley joining me from Greyhound Racing New South Wales. How are you, Mick?
I'm not bad, Cosy. Yourself?
Good. Big news yesterday. Golden Easter egg sadly won't be run this year.
Yeah, it was very disappointing news, Cosy. Some would have said inevitable, but nevertheless very disappointing. So I thought we'd be joined this morning by the General Manager of New South Wales GBOTA, Steve Noyce. Steve, thanks for coming on this morning to have a chat.
But, you know, we've all been dealt a hand of cards that we probably would prefer not to have, and I think you've just got to make decisions that are appropriate. It was interesting when I was putting an argument up to your bosses about originally not cancelling it, just moving it. I was interested to see even during the ban period the Golden Easter egg was run. So I think we all owe it to the participants to try and run these races as best we can at all times, but then there's also the reality. So sad decision, but bigger and better next year, mate.
And I guess it was a case of trying to hold on for as long as you could in many ways. That was the whole premise behind postponing it, rescheduling it for May, June. But I guess it just got to a case where, ran out of time more than anything else, I guess.
Yeah, I think in the end you're trying to do it for all the right reasons, for the participants, for the industry, all of the good positive. And then there's that tipping point that says if you don't provide proper preparation and the right access for people, then you take away from the quality and the importance of the event, and then I think you're disrespectful, and that's why I tended to think we were getting into that range. And as I say, sad and disappointing, but I'm sure everyone understands why the decision was made, and now we've got to move on and keep marching forward.
And I guess the thing, whilst it is disappointing to lose a race like the Easter egg, we've lost all the country feature races as well. It is an unusual, unprecedented time, and we shouldn't forget that, and the fact that we are still racing when most of the world has shut down in terms of sport.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting, Michael. This year, the GBOTA have been in existence for 81 years. And in that 81 years, today marks only 28 days of zoned racing. And so I think, that's how much of a change it is to the fabric of our history. And as you say, our thoughts go out to all the participants and everyone in Tasmania and all around the world who's not racing. And so I think all of us have had two priorities since this first came out. Priority one, safety and well-being of all the participants, the Greyhounds, all the staff, the GWIC staff and everyone. And second priority, keep racing. That's our bread and butter. It's what helps the participants. And again, as I've said to you a couple of times, mate, my sincere hats off to all those participants out there. Your support and the way you've engaged and been proactive about the protocols. That's why we're still racing, and you deserve enormous credit for that.
Absolutely right, mate. And I guess your role, you would have reached out and touched base or had participants call in. What is the general feel? How are people dealing with this out in the regions?
I think because none of us have ever gone down this journey before, Nick, it's difficult, and then there's a little bit. I wasn't great at school, but I think it might be Newton's third law of for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And I think the Q&As that you and Tony have been doing have been fantastic, but it is interesting. The first part of the action is we need more races for the lower perform greyhounds, so we do that. And then the people at the other end of the spectrum want more races for good quality. So that's a difficult one to balance, but I think the industry is trying to do as much as they can. As I said earlier, I think your question and answers have performed a really good task. My staff here know everyone who rings in must get a return phone call. Everyone who emails in must get something back. I think the communication at this stage communication in life is always so important, but right now. And then the other one is Christy, our wonderful membership manager, just ringing members at random just to have a talk, because again, greyhound racing is in people's DNA, could have been there for 50, 60 years, and all of a sudden a lot of that's gone, and they might just want someone to chat to. So, and again, as I always say on this radio station, if anyone wants to chat about something or complain, just give me a ring on 0402 428-117, and happy to chat. And we don't always, Michael, as you'd appreciate, not everyone agrees with everything, but we're always honest with people and tell them exactly what we see the situation at the moment is.
I think that's been one of the big things out of this, whether it be through those Q&As or whether it be through phone calls or so forth, is there's been a lot of honesty within the industry from participants and also administrators, and I think that in itself will bring the industry together as we move forward.
The only one I thought was questionable, mate, when Tony asked that question about how good a footballer was, and his answer was he was a really good footballer. I think we might get some video evidence, but no, I think everyone. You're right. People are, and it administrates. It's funny. I was talking to Wayne Billett today. At my level, I just want to get races run because that's my charter. For the participants, and the administration have a role in the overall well-being of the industry, and I certainly want to make sure that's right. And so, we're all trying to get things done. It's harder to get. We can all put the stop sign up quicker. It's going to be difficult from Scott Morris and everyone down to, put that green light on. But hopefully if the wonderful Australian culture keeps going as it is and we keep the distancing, and Prime Minister Morrison said a couple of weeks ago, in 4 weeks, hopefully things might ease a bit. And now that the schools are going back, I think there's a great platform for us to, to continue to race, continue to do the right thing by the participants, and, onwards and upwards, hopefully, mate.
Absolutely right. Well, mate, as I said, disappointing news yesterday, but thank you for coming on today to have a chat, and onwards and upwards for the industry, as we have said.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks for all the good work you guys are doing, and to everyone at Sky Sports Radio, thanks for your support. We appreciate it. And again, participants, you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Absolutely. Cosy, there he was, Steve Noyce, GM of New South Wales GBOTA, just basically talking about that decision that was made yesterday as far as the Golden Easter egg was concerned.
Exactly. Now you get a couple of guests joining you this morning too, Mick.
Mate, I do indeed. We're joined on the line by a trainer who's having a bit of luck at the moment, Michelle Sultana. Michelle's young dog Unison is really carving it up, particularly down there at Bulleye. And Michelle, thanks for joining us this morning.
No worries. How you going?
Very well, very well. As I mentioned, Unison, you'd have to be very pleased with the way he's going at the moment. 26.02 at Bulleye, not mucking around.
No, definitely he's flying at the moment. I really couldn't be happier with him. And he's definitely bouncing out of his skin right now.
He was trained by the owner, Chris Bryden, for some time, and then probably about 7 or 8 runs back, Chris decided to contact you and see if you'd train the dog?
Yeah, yep. I actually pre-train the dog. I pre-train all the schooner and the drink dogs. And Chris bought the dog, but and he decided that he wanted to have a go with it, and then after a few runs and that, he just decided that he wanted to sit back and watch it from home and let me do all the work.
And it's certainly worked out well for both of you and the dog by the looks of the results.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I've always had a high opinion of the dog. He's always shown me something, and the whole litter has. So I really I feel pretty blessed at the moment with them all.
Was there a trick to him? Oh, obviously, I think he'd only won 1 race when he did come to you, perhaps 2. But since then, you've really got him up and flying. Was there any trick to it?
Oh, he had a few little niggling injuries, but there was nothing major, and I just sort of he just adjusted to my training the way that I do the others in the litter, and he's just thriving on it now. I mean, I can't get enough work into him, and I'm a bit excited to step him up now and see what he can do.
What are the plans? As you said, step him up. He's come off 3 fantastic bull-eye, or 4 fantastic bull-eye performances. If you look at the second and then go Rust as well, running super times.
Yep.
What are the plans from here?
Look, we're a little bit limited at the moment with everything that's going on, but I'm gonna give him a post-to-post tomorrow actually, and see how he goes, and we'll step him up to the 500, and we'll just chase a little bit of the city prize money where we can for a little while, and hopefully in a few weeks, or hopefully in a month, everything will be sort of back to normal, and we can sort of start travelling or do what we have to do.
Potentially, how good do you think he could be?
Well, he's pretty quick, so I'm pretty excited to sort of step him up and start to do a little bit of travelling. So, look, he could be anything. Look, when they all broke in, I got all the times back, and there was 3 in the litter. And I ran into Frank Hurst, and I know Frank Hurst broke in Harada and Buddy at the same place. And I said to him, Frank, what are these times like? And he goes, they're pretty good. Like, you know, one of them broke the 19, and not many of them do that. I think Raw Ability done that at the same place, and he actually broke in a little bit quicker than Harada. And Frank said to me, look, you're going to have some fun with these dogs. So it's all starting to pan out now.
Well, hopefully the fun continues. Good luck with him and the rest in your kennel, and thanks for joining us this morning to have a bit of a chat. I'm sure we'll get you on soon.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
All
Because
right.
there she was, Michelle Sultana, with a very handy dog at the moment, a dog called Eunice, and all punters should be on the lookout for that one.